Something you should know about me, I don't just like writing, I love it. Over the years, I've consumed countless resources on the craft of writing in the effort to create the best stories possible. I've come across hundreds of tips that have forever changed the way that I write, and I'm going to be sharing 11 of the best ones with you today, starting with: one of the areas new writers struggle the most is with description, trying to find that balance between too much and too little. In James Scott Bell's great course, How to Write Best-Selling Fiction, he says it's not about describing the look of something, it's about the feel of something. So if you're looking to describe the creepy feel of an abandoned house, describe only those things that are in keeping with that mood. Creaking doors, cobwebbed mirrors, wind whistling through cracked windows. Once you know what mood you want to convey, you'll know what you should describe and what you should be leaving out. Weak antagonists make for weak stories. A villain who exists only to get in the hero's way isn't a character, he's a plot point. If you write your villain with the understanding that they believe they're the hero of the story, it will prompt you to dive so much deeper into their motivation and psyche. Thanos is such an effective villain because he truly believes he's saving the universe and is the only one who can see what needs to be done. In addition to writing your villains as if they believe they're the hero, you need to give them a chance to argue their side. Screenwriter Aaron Sorkin describes this as your villain making their case to God as to why they should be led into heaven. Your villain can be completely wrong in everything they believe and stand for, but if you don't give them the chance to argue their point of view, you make them look like a straw man and your hero look like a bully.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This advice comes from author Brandon Sanderson. Successful fiction hinges on making promises to your reader early on and paying them off in a satisfying way. For example, if you allude to time travel in chapter 1, there better be time travel by the end of the story. For truly great stories, however, you give the audience something better than what was promised. The example Sanderson gives is that you promise to give your son a toy car for Christmas, but in the months leading up to Christmas, you start dropping hints about how cool toy airplanes are. So by the time Christmas rolls around, your son is thinking, gee, I kind of wish I was actually getting an airplane. Then Christmas morning, lo and behold, he gets a toy airplane. You can use this to great effect in fiction writing. In the movie National Treasure, we're promised this room full of treasure, so that's what we're picturing the whole movie. But in the end, we're actually given rooms full of treasure, further than the eye can see. During an interview, Vince Gilligan, creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, said that villains shouldn't get dumb at the end of the story. This is a great tip to keep in mind when writing the climax of your story. Don't allow your typically brilliant villain to suddenly make a dumb move that allows the hero to get the upper hand right at the end. Force your hero and yourself as the author to get creative and coming up with a brilliant way to outwit the villain that makes the hero look intelligent instead of the villain looking dumb.
It's showtime, folks.
Another tip from Vince Gilligan, this one is about letting your characters naturally evolve through the writing process. Most times you won't truly know what your character is about until around the middle of the story. Gilligan uses the example of Walter White from Breaking Bad, saying it wasn't until they were midway through writing the show that they realized Walt is a character completely driven by ego, which drastically altered the course of the show. If you're midway through your story and suddenly realize your plot isn't in keeping with who your character is, change the plot. Never force your protagonist to act out of character for the sake of convenience. This one is from Dan Harmon, creator of the show Community and co-creator of Rick and Morty. So many authors obsess over coming up with these brilliant, convoluted plots, but really the magic is in the execution. The Community episode Remedial Chaos Theory is about nothing more than rolling a dice to see who has to go get the pizza, but it's considered one of the best TV episodes ever written because of the way it explores group dynamics. The key to any successful story is zeroing in on the specific ways that you can explore character that only your plot can provide. Director Alfred Hitchcock described drama as life with the boring bits cut out. Many writers miss this and leave parts in their scenes that can and should be left on the cutting room floor. This is especially true of story openings. If your first chapter involves a character getting in a car accident, don't start with Linda awoke to sunlight streaming through the window. Start with the scream of brakes split the air. The same is true of ending scenes. Don't hang around with the road crew that's cleaning up after Linda's accident. Once the scene has accomplished its goal, move on to the next. You want to trim back to the point where if you cut just one more sentence, the scene would no longer make sense. All of story hinges on conflict. A character wants something, but something formidable is standing in their way. Surprisingly, what they want is almost irrelevant. It only matters that they want it so badly that they're willing to push through any obstacle in their way to get it. In its simplest form, the movie Whiplash is just about a guy trying to join a band. It's his obsessive drive for this goal, coupled with a truly formidable antagonist, that pushes this story into the realm of psychological suspense. This one is so important, it really deserves a video of its own. Whatever you do, get to the end of the first draft. You'll hit a point in every piece you ever write where it feels like you're writing garbage. That's okay, just don't stop whatever you do. Even if you have to go back later and cut or rework 90% of it, just get to the end. You can't edit a blank page. Let me take this burden off of you right now. There is nothing new under the sun. Don't waste time trying to come up with the story idea that no one in all of human history has ever thought of. Trust me, whatever you come up with has been done in some form or another. The key isn't to come up with a story idea that's never been done before. It's to tell it in a way that's never been told before. The Lion King is just Hamlet with lions. Suzanne Collins came up for the idea for Hunger Games by channel surfing between footage of the Iraq War and the show Survivor. Vince Gilligan has described Breaking Bad as just Mr. Chips turning into Scarface.
Say hello to my little friend!
Creativity is about merging and blending what already exists. So take 2 or 3 of your favorite stories and smash them together. Then write something in a way that only you could write it. Hope this helps. Leave a comment below with your favorite writing tip.